Hello.
Hi,
Yeah, good afternoon.
good afternoon. Can you tell me how years of experience?
Your voice is not clear to me.
Okay. So can you brief me what you are currently doing?
So right now I am working with KMG IT Services, Gurgaon Udyog Vihar for the last 2.5 years. So right now I am working in hybrid environment in which 50% of that includes IT internal operations and 50% includes cloud. So my task is to create all the resources which are required for the production environment and creation of servers, their monitoring, and all those stuff. And apart from that, there is some part which includes DevOps. So in DevOps, we are using tools like Docker, Jenkins, etc., and GitHub. So this is my overall scenario. And the company in which
Okay.
I am working is a software development company. So all
What's your
the
highest qualification?
is BTech from MDU, 2016 pass out.
The tech. Okay. So do you have experience in writing Linux bash scripting, shell scripting?
Shell, not Bash. Actually, we
I
write shell
mean,
scripting in Bash terminal only.
so bash terminal you write how to write the scripting, right?
So in the starting we use hash and bin bash, and after that we continue with the shell scripting.
Okay. So suppose you have created one bash script,
Hmm.
and in that bash script if you have to pass some parameters, then how at the time of calling that script how you will pass the parameter?
Please pardon the question. I didn't.
Can you please turn on your camera?
Yeah, 1 minute. Uh, yes.
Yes. So I am asking, suppose I want to write one bash script
Hmm.
to get the sum of two numbers, right? Two integers.
Hmm.
That integer can be anything. So you wrote a bash script,
Hmm.
and now you want to call that script by passing two integers.
Hmm.
So how you will pass the argument to that script?
So we will you first of all create the logic, and after that we will use the echo command to pull those parameters, and after that we will supply the numbers according to our requirement, and we'll get the results.
So I'm asking how we will pass the parameter at the time of calling the script.
So we will
So
run.
suppose
Uh, so
the script is add. I mean the script name is uh, get sum.sh,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
And here you are passing like 5 space 10,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Two parameters we are passing.
hmm.
So how you will access that inside the script so that it will take 5 plus 10 equal to 15.
How we will pass those.
See, the script I am calling is add sum.sh, right?
Hmm,
And that add sum.sh we are passing two parameters, 5 space
hmm,
then 10 means two parameters, right?
hmm, hmm.
Now we want to access the parameters inside the script. So how we will access it?
No, I have not worked on this scenario.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So you know Linux,
Yes, sir.
so you know how to mount a file system drive.
Yes, using mount command.
Okay,
And
and
if you
how we
go,
can make it permanent that even if you restart the system, that mount point exists.
So if that is this problem is occurring, so we will either do configuration changes in fs file system tab file, or otherwise we will use systemd.
Okay. You know what is physical volume?
Yes, physical volume is the volume which is directly attached to that means we have not created a logical volume in that. So there are two types of volume. One is logical volume and one is physical volume.
Okay. And what is volume group?
So the group collection of volume is known as the volume group. So these are all the parts of LVM.
So you have total experience of 2.5
So total is
years.
Total is 4 years 6 months, and relevant is 2 years.
Okay, relevant is 2 years, right? Okay. You know PowerShell scripting?
No. So that is in Azure PowerShell. So Azure is a very little bit in our company.
Sorry? Okay. So
In our company,
PowerShell,
shell scripting is being used.
so AWS, what about AWS?
So all the servers which we are creating in cloud are based on AWS,
Okay.
and some of
You
them
know
are
what is VPC?
VPC is the virtual private cloud. It is basically the logical network of which is present in AWS.
Okay.
So one default is created, and we create further VPCs according to our requirement.
So suppose we have two EC2 instances, one in VPC 1 and another is in VPC 2. So how these two EC2 instances will communicate?
Using VPC peering. So the practical example of this is that we create one EC2 as a web server and another as a database server, and we will connect them to VPC peering, which will be in the private network. So that will be faster as compared to if we traverse them to make a connectivity through public network.
What are security groups?
Security groups are the security values. So security groups
values means?
We create we allow and deny the port numbers in security groups. So it is one is stateful and one is stateless. So if inbound is allowed, outbound traffic is allowed in security groups.
What is Route 53?
Route 53 is the DNS service which is provided by the AWS. So we can do the health checks and hosting, etc., and monitoring and traffic management in Route 53.
Okay. So have you created CI/CD pipeline?
Yes.
Using what tool?
Jenkins.
So what are the different steps you need to take to create CI/CD pipeline for database project?
So if I talk about the steps, so first of all we will go to AWS, create an EC2 instance, and using Jenkins command we will create the Jenkins and install Java, create user ID, password, and after that configure the Jenkins and ask the developers to push their code to GitHub, pull their code from GitHub. And there are two types of CI/CD. One is scripted and one is declarative. So if we want to do the scripted, so go in bash scripting option in Jenkins and do the scripting whatever using shell scripting, or if we want to write in dockerized manner or whatever our requirement is. And if we want to create the automation based on the time, so we will go to build triggers and pull SCM, and we will use the cron jobs in that. And after that we will build the pipeline and install various plugins to create that pipeline. And another option is to create the Jenkins file. So this is the overall scenario. So whenever the developer pushes any code, so that is integrated into that is continuously integrated and continuously deployed according to our requirement. And apart from
So
that,
have you created a pipeline for database project?
no, not for database project. Basically, front end projects.
So we have not worked on database project.
Database project I have worked on premise. Basically, database. What my task is to create the databases and hand over it to the developers because in the month of July last year we had a virus attack, so all our internal servers were corrupted. So we decided to move to those databases to cloud. So what I do is create those databases and give access to the developers. And apart from that, we have one .NET team, so directly migrate their databases in Azure. And apart from that, there's some important databases migration to the AWS using database management service. And for the conversion of any database, so we will use schema conversion tool.
You know what is DACpack?
What?
DACpack.
DACpack?
Yes.
No idea.
So in CI/CD pipeline, have you done any type of secret management like you have secrets, keys, access keys, username, password, database credentials, connection strings?
So
where do we put those credentials? Because if you keep it in source code, right? So this is possibility that anyone who has access to the code will take that credential and misuse it, right? So how we can prevent that?
So if
how we can secure the secrets?
So in our company, what we do is if we want to give any access to the other people, so we create the users and in Jenkins using manage Jenkins and create the users and give them restricted access and give user ID and password to work on Jenkins. So this is our security in Jenkins.
I am asking, suppose in application there is database connection string, like database name, username and password. So suppose this is a production credential, right? And the developer can take the credential and log into that database using the credential, and maybe they can delete the database. Then what will happen? So we want to prevent that the credential is secured, right? So how you can do that?
This kind of scenario I have not worked.
So where are you working? I'm in Bangalore or where?
Gurgaon.
Okay, you're in Gurgaon.
So in Jenkins, we connect our Jenkins to their projects using GitHub, and if we want to give any access to the developer for the temporary purpose, we create a separate user for them. That's all. Database is basically separate from Jenkins.
Sorry?
In our company, all the database projects are not integrated with the Jenkins.
Okay. See, no CI/CD for database.
So we have those application and mobile apps and Java projects. So for those we use Jenkins.
Okay, so you have experience with Git?
Yes. So Git, all the repositories, basically the repositories, all the developers who are working push their code in GitHub.
So what are the different commands? Can you tell me 5 to 10 Git commands?
So first of all, if we want to add any project, so first of all, if we want to install Git, so we will use git install, and after that we will use git init command. After that, if we want to merge any project to our internal local system, so we will use git remote add origin, and after that the URL. And after that, if we want to push, and so one is staging area, one is working area, and one is local repo. So to move this project, the command are git add dot. So the dot denotes the all the files and the directories. And to push the projects, we use git push origin master. So push is the combination of merge and fetch. So merge is basically used to merge all the changes which are done by the developers, and fetch is the metadata. So what all are the changes. And if you want to clone any project in our local system, so for that we use git clone. And if we want to contribute to any repository and pull those projects to our another repository, we use git fork. So these are kind of the command. And if we want to temporarily store any repository, for that we use git stashing. So these are all the commands, general commands.
Okay. So you know Docker?
Yes.
What is port binding in Docker?
Port binding is basically if we want to do port forwarding, so for that we use port binding. So if at the time when we are running the image, so we use -p command, and after that the first port is the host and second is the container port. So in that way the port forwarding is done.
What is bridge network and overlay network?
Bridge is the default network of the Docker, which is basically runs in 172.17 series, and we can create our own network by using the command docker network create. And overlay is the default. Overlay 2 is basically the default driver for storage. So one is the storage driver and one is the network type.
What is volume?
Volume is used to store the contents of the Docker containers. So one is bind volume and one is persistent volume. So if we want to attach any folder to our volume, so that is known as bind volume. And if we want another one is persistent volume, so that is the permanent. Even if the container is destroyed, so the data will remain intact.
So in AWS, you are basically into creating infrastructure, right?
Creating infrastructure and all those stuff, and monitoring using Nagios, Prometheus, Grafana. And in our company project management, we are using Jira, and for domestic client, I have implemented the Splunk tool. So AWS part is the major part, because I am from IT infra background, so infrastructure part is more. So 50% is IT internal operations, in which my task is to see all the on-premise servers and firewalls and all the network and desktops, etc. And in cloud, basically a creation of all the servers and their monitoring, and 20 to 25% is that DevOps part. So not all the projects are using the DevOps part. So like you asked me to connect the Jenkins with database. So database projects are not using Jenkins CI/CD. The web application projects and all those are using.
Okay.
So the main purpose of using CI/CD in our company is to make the process faster. Yes. Whenever there is any bug or something in the code, so we have configured the email for the developers team wise. So they get the mail automatically, and fix those bugs.
So in CI/CD pipeline,
Mm.
so you know you have worked on .NET, right?
So .NET, there is a dedicated development team, and their database is moved to Azure directly.
So you created CI/CD pipeline for .NET, right?
Yes, once I had created.
So suppose there are dev environment, QA environment, and production, right? So all dev, QA, and production will have different web.config file, correct?
Mm.
So how you will, because the pipeline is same, right?
Mm.
But the configuration file needs to be changed based on the environment.
Mm.
So how we will do that web.config transformation?
No idea.
So we have not worked on this, right?
Yes, I worked, but this I didn't know because the whole team is responsible for that. So
Okay. And what about Terraform and ARM templates?
ARM templates, I have no idea, and in Terraform, I have a basic experience. So what we do is, it is an infrastructure as a code tool. First of all, we install the Terraform on any system, and after that we use the command Terraform in it and do all the infrastructure and all the configuration based on our requirement. And after that we do the Terraform apply, and our infrastructure is created.
So you know what is full deployment and incremental deployment in Terraform?
Full deployment, basically the deployment which is done the first time, and incremental is that if we are making any changes, so those are not fully being implemented again and again, and only the changes are implemented.
You know what is the use of RDS in AWS?
RDS is a relational database service, which is a managed service provided by the AWS.
And CloudWatch and CloudTrail?
CloudTrail I have not used. Basically, CloudTrail is the log service which is attached to AWS resources, which gives us the logs. And in cloud, if I talk about CloudWatch, so CloudWatch gives us the metrics every 5 minutes frequency for free. And if we want to do the detailed monitoring, we can have the option to monitor the EC2 instance every minute. For that, we have to pay for it. And apart from that, CloudWatch also offers the services to start and stop, basically the automation of the servers using various tools like Lambda. So what we can, there was one project which required the automatic start and stop during day and night. So I went to CloudWatch and configured that script using JSON and connected with the Lambda and with the cron expressions. So in the daytime that used to start automatically, and in the night time it was shut. So this is the overall about cloud. And the metrics which are offered by CloudWatch is the CPU and hard disk network. So there are 5 to 6 metrics which are provided by the CloudWatch. And apart from that, we can use JSON format to configure any automation.
You are totally in infrastructure, means more in infrastructure, less in CI/CD, right?
So basically, that is the reason for the change. I am looking forward to become a full-fledged DevOps part. Because when I joined the company, so after that, the DevOps was introduced after 6 months. So for the 2 years, it is happening, and apart from that, not all the projects are using DevOps. So I am more into those monitoring and deployments, so all kind of that stuff.
You know what is DNS cache? I mean DNS suffix.
DNS cache is basically the entries which are stored in the DNS server, and we can flush them using DNS flush command. And suffix.
And what is DNS suffix? DNS suffix, yes.
Suffix, I have no idea.
What is the use of DNS records?
So DNS records are basically the records which are created. So in AWS, those are known as record sets, which maps in between the IP and the name servers. So in AWS, we create the record sets. So those are DNS records, basically the records which map IP to the names.
So do you have any certification?
So earlier I was a full-fledged network engineer. So till July I was a CCNA certified network engineer. But right now I am preparing for AWS certification.
Okay, so you are CCNA certified.
Up till June. So my certification expired in June 2020. But KMG services, IT services changed my profile. So in this company, the network was not in that way, but it's a software development company, so deployments and all those stuffs were in more depth. So they asked me to move to the AWS and cloud side, because today every company is moving forward in that side. So
you have done CCNA only or CCNA and CCNP both?
So CCNA training and certification both, and CCNP trained from Network Bulls Gurgaon.
Okay. So you have done certification, I mean training and certification from institute.
Yes. So CCNA I did from Actron Noida, and CCNP I did from Network Bulls. And the certification was of Cisco, not of the training center.
Yes, Cisco certification. Correct.
So that was I did back in 2017. So that got expired in 2020.
So how much time it took for you to prepare for certification, networking certification?
So I prepared in parallel, and apart from that, if you want to take help from the internet, so that time what happened was that I came through a link. So that was a demo. It used to give me the demo sample of the CCNA exam, and the CCNA actual exam was only one another test for me. In the test center, that will be a Pearson center, and my center was in Janakpuri.
So you mean you prepared using practice test or dumb? What?
So all the Cisco website, the books which were provided by the Apton, and apart from that, I did some of the mock tests which were provided by the training institute also, and previous questions, and apart from that, some practice test from the internet also.
How much it cost for you?
So back in 2017, it was 21,000 including all, and the training was 8,000 rupees for CCNA, and for CCNP there are 3 exams. One is route, one is switch, and one is T-shoot.
So how much it will cost for CCNP?
So if you
plus certification.
So I paid 40,000 to Network Bulls, and if you want to do all the three certifications. So the cost is around that time was to 250 and to $270. So in Indian rupees, the price they quoted was around between 22,000 per exam.
22,000 per exam.
Yes. So if you want to be a CCNP certified person, so that time their requirement was that for in 3 exams you have to pass 2, any 2.
Okay.
Mm.
So you are CCNA certified, right?
I was CCNA certified up till June 2020. But for the last 2.5 years, I am more into the IT internal operations and cloud work. And I am looking forward for to become a DevOps engineer.
June 2020, right?
Yes, yes. So that time it got expired.
No problem. You understand the network and infrastructure way.
Hmm.
Thanks, Ritvik. I'm done with my interview,
Hmm.
and I will provide feedback to my HR person, and they will contact you. Do you
Oh.
have any question for me?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you, Ritvik. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.